Animaniacs 2020, Season 1, Episode 1. Because there's so many, little parts within, it's made up of many different sketches. Like,
There's only like 3 sketches per
well,
episode.
to put on a title card. And it's
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to change over time. Like, this one we had 2 of the same thing. Same title, part
Yeah.
1 and part 2, but the next one's, thinking about the future, the next one's probably going to have 3 or 4 parts, and so putting that all on a title card and reading it out every time is going to be a little annoying. So just stick with Season 1, Episode 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. It's basically only 3 parts per episode. There's the first Animaniacs, then a Pinky and the Brain, then another Animaniacs. I've watched like 5 episodes so far, and that seems to be the general pattern for it. So.
The animation's nice.
Yes, it has smooth lines.
It does date itself fairly heavily. I mean, it's still in 28. So they're writing it in 2018. I mean, they're still on the Russian bot hoax. So I mean, it's like, and in the 2016 election, they're still stinging over that. It's like, okay, maybe this one would have been worth a little bit of a rewrite before you send it out. I mean, if you're writing this in 2018, maybe 2019, you refresh it a little bit before you
knew.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Only they knew about 2020.
Like, it would have been much funnier if they had been able to rewrite it for 2020. I don't know when they started animating it. Like, I know the green light was probably sometime early last year, given that we're not getting it until just recently. So, I mean, animation takes forever to do. So, getting all the people,
They were green lit actually in 2018, I think it was, because I found out about it, like an official confirmation when I went to Salt Lake for FanX. Because I was in a panel and Jess Hartnell was there and he confirmed it. He's like, yes, it's official. There's going to be a new Animaniacs in 2020. So
yeah, it definitely shows its age, and I think it would be, it shows its age for, it's like there was some lag time between this thing getting made and it going out, but some of it is still pretty relevant, like our movie studios still making reboots of not reboots, but that's pretty much all they're doing at this point, because they've run out of original ideas, and they're also dying because they've got, the theaters are closed, so they're not getting that in, and they're just, people are like, multiple vectors are attacking like the big studios, because you have, online content is killing them, because a lot of people are watching YouTube. They're getting exactly what they want out of some original guy in Cleveland making some content that they want to watch. And so they're not watching what's on TV. Yeah,
Netflix is throwing out so many originals that movies, the studios are like, fucked.
Yeah, that's the thing is, this TV being the way it is, a fixed medium where you tune in and you watch something on their schedule, is becoming more and more difficult to sell, because people will either DVR it, or they'll just watch it, they'll binge watch it on Netflix or on demand or something, or they'll just won't watch it entirely, because I basically don't watch any TV these days. Like, all I watch is like YouTube, because I get exactly what I want. I don't have to, there's no politics being injected. There's nothing in there that I don't want. I can just go, oh, yes, I want to watch this. Like, if I want to watch something outside of my own political bubble, I can do that. But I can also just not have politics at all. I can find a creator that puts out content that doesn't have any politics, or, we have to be culturally responsible. It's like, no, you don't. You're a TV show. You are a clown for my amusement.
Yes. Dance, monkey, dance.
I watch are like, well, at least on YouTube, are like Simon Whistler's channels, which he has like 50 of them. I only watch like 3 of them. And then Kyle Hill, because I mean, those are the main ones I do. Oh, and Z Frank when he actually posts stuff, which is very rare.
I like
that's like, he'll get on a streak and he'll go for like, oh yeah, he'll put 2 or 3 out, and it's like, oh cool, and then just all of a sudden he just appears. It's like, okay, I'd rather have you come out here and give us quality when you can, and not throw up slop when you just don't have it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Those like voice over the animal things, like what animals are really thinking.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love the part of the
episode. I'm more like the true facts about the duck.
I love those. I love the true facts.
I do too.
True facts about Morgan Freeman.
The true facts.
Of the part of the episode, it's like everything's being delivered by Amazon drones. Yeah, that never happened.
No.
No, that another bit of dating. One thing that didn't go poorly was the whole how can this face get on late night TV? Nobody cares because nobody's watching.
True.
That is true.
Like, nobody watches late night anymore, and so it's just like they do whatever. They don't really care because nobody watches. Like,
and I just really like the Jurassic Park joke.
Yes.
The thing is, they posted that before, so I was like, okay, I've seen this before. So I sort of sped through that again. It's good, but it was just sort of, okay, I've seen that before. You already posted that on YouTube, so I just watched. I was like, okay, well, I bumped up the speed for the beginning of it, and as it got into original content, I'm wondering one thing though, one canon-misty thing. Okay. Plot's no longer being in charge, whatever. You had to get somebody new, and it's like, okay, whatever. We'll see what she turns into. I haven't seen anything other than this episode, so I don't have anything to judge her on. But why is Ralph wearing a different outfit?
And different voice.
What?
And it's a different Ralph, I think.
Well, okay, well, it's...
But I mean, the uniform change makes sense. My dad used to be security at a mall, so they would actually change, when the company that owned the security firm changed hands, they would change uniforms. And even,
but you're Animaniacs. You don't have to do that. You can keep the same uniform forever.
But I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not unrealistic. I'm just wondering why you bothered. Like, you didn't change the design of the Warners. Okay, you didn't change the design of Pinky and the Brain, really. Why did you bother changing what Ralph looks like? Why didn't he's mostly the same, just different uniform. It's fine. It's a minor nitpick, but it's like, why? It's just why. It's like, because I'm looking at it, it's like, why is that not gray? Like, why did you change it?
Yeah, I didn't really care.
Yeah, oh, it's not. It's less than a freaking, flea in sort of terms of, it mattering. But it's like, why did you change it? Why did you bother wasting the money on a new uniform design? Because you had to spend time, doing the new art design for all this. It's like, why don't you already had an art design for Ralph, just not waste the money and just copy it over. Your art style didn't change that much, so just copy it over. You don't have to design anything new.
Maybe the new artists felt they needed it. Felt like
Yeah, I
mixing
mean,
it up a bit.
it's again, it's nothing, but it's just sort of funny that of all the things that they were going to do with this thing, like it's like, and Ralph shall have a new uniform color. What?
So, from this episode, I am to take that Brain created the internet.
Yeah.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
And he created the smartphone, the concept of the smartphone.
Okay, so 10 seconds of thought on the brain stratagem. Okay, so he has his initial thought is, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rely on this one to be it, to get all the views. It's like, if he has the mind control, couldn't he, if he can set them to obey him, couldn't he set another one to, okay, you will follow me and share this video with your friends? And so then he builds his following exponentially. All he needs to do is get one person to see it, and they'll subscribe or whatever, follow him. So we'll see the next one when he inputs the command to obey him, and then they'll share it with all their friends and go, okay, hey, look what I saw, and they'll spread it, and they'll spread it, and they'll spread it, and then his message to follow him on the media will be there, and then when he's reached maximum followers, then you deploy the mind control, and at the same time you do the mind control, and then you give your orders. Then boom, you have it all set up.
Yeah.
You're not thinking exponentially there, brain.
That makes so much sense. And this is the brain.
Oh yeah.
And to quote the Ronnie in reference to the master, although this is also this also is applicable to the brain, he'd get dizzy trying to walk a straight line.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Unless
reconnecting.
It's convoluted, he can't comprehend it.
Yeah, he's I mean, and then there's the whole theory, that actually Pinky is the smart one. It just says one's the genius, the other's insane. The genius is actually Pinky, who acts stupid, but secretly is foiling all of Brain's plans. Which this follows up nicely because he shared the pig with the swirly thing to foil Brain's plans. So it still follows that sort of fan theory. But they never say who's the genius and who's insane.
It's like, Pinky, are you thinking what I'm thinking? No, Pinky, do you know what people use the internet for? I do, but I don't think I'm supposed to say.
Yes.
Which is an interesting joke that can now be made, because they couldn't make that joke in '93. Because that wasn't a thing. Like, it may have been a thing, but it wasn't a thing at the same level that it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be...
Yeah, the internet's used for cat videos.
Yes, yes. Cat
Let's all
videos.
just be innocent here, okay?
Yes.
I think you're talking about the wrong kind of pussy.
And there's the...
Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody. Yeah. I knew it was coming. It was one of us one of us would make that joke at some point, but I was like, and then you jumped on it, so I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Madrock would jump on one, but that's business.
Anyway. Oh. And I do like the fact that they, all the There's one thing. There's another joke that didn't quite make sense. If you think about the context. Okay, so there's. Maybe I missed it because I only got to watch it once this morning. Were the two guys who were lifting the thing talking about Star Trek, or were they holding something that was Star Trek? Because if it was Star Trek, that should be on the CBS lot. Though I find it funny that they did with the Warner Brothers when they were going on the lot. They were like, yes, essentially, Harry Potter, you can see Batman, Wonder Woman. It's like you can do all this because we have those. If it's made by Warner Brothers, we can do whatever we want in this.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it today because I was up for like 22 hours straight yesterday doing Christmas shit. So I kind of crashed and woke up like an hour before the call. So I haven't watched it since the day after it came out.
Okay.
The day after the series.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, maybe somebody in the comments, if they get this far, will know. But yeah, it's like, if they were just talking about it beforehand or they made an offhanded thing, I didn't go back and check. But yeah, that would be on CBS.
I thought if I remember correctly, didn't they have like just like the reboot Star Trek cast? Like the Abrams verse.
What?
Which, if I remember correctly, wasn't Abrams verse a collaboration with
Bad Robot?
Huh?
Well, the Abrams verse was, I think that was bad CBS with Bad Robot, but that was CBS or Paramount. I always get confused with. I always forget which way it goes. Because now CBS and Paramount are together, but they were separated for a bit, and so Paramount had the rights to this, and CBS was a mess. But now it's all under one roof again, but to some of its detriment. But yeah, I don't know.
Damn. Trying to think of all the references in the song they did. Hey, that clunker show looks pretty good. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, for like the first episode, I thought it was like really good. I mean,
it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm just so happy it's back.
I know, right?
With all of the shit in 2020, it was kind of that one beacon of hope that there's some normalcy left, or abnormalcy in our case.
Although, I'm sorry, I just have to say this, but that sandwich did not look that appealing.
No, it didn't. Oh my gosh, no.
Now,
you have that nasty ass sandwich. I love how he's like going through and like doing that whole jumping through the wires and stuff to get away from the security lasers and getting to the sandwich and the alarm, and just walks back.
It's like, it was my sandwich dance. That had nothing to do with lasers. And the fact that the means to catch them was like a chair and a net over that chair. And it's like, huh.
And they were standing in right off the side. That is such classic cartoon.
And then they just get caught with a drone.
Yeah.
Now, there's two things I hope to bring back in the show. One being bad idea, good idea.
As as far as I'm aware, like I said, I've only seen the first 5 episodes.
Yeah.
They aren't. They did have a cameo of the main of like all of the classic characters, but I don't think they're going to be main character. They're going to be back.
That'll probably be like season 2, depending on how season 1 does.
Yeah,
Maybe,
it's probably
'cause-
about the money too. It's like, okay, well, we could, if this was going
Yeah.
on actual TV, this could probably get the budget to get everybody back, but they needed to prove the concept and prove that this is something that brings people in, and so
My car brings the boys to the yard.
and so
Also,
if this does well, if this is well received, and everybody likes it, and it brings people into Hulu, then they may go and go, okay, well, that went well, so let's go even bigger. Let's invite some of these people who we can still get, you know, and we can do some.
and also I want them to bring back Wacko's Burp Opera.
Oh yeah, the great Wackarini.
Yep.
Well, I mean, they do have his burp double, stunt burper.
Huh. Okay, so Wacko is 11 years old,
Yeah,
and Yakko is 14.
wow.
I'm guessing Dot's like 5.
It was a
Okay.
weird. It was also a weird change to the opening too about Dot. It was
Yeah,
like Dot is cute and yeah, go Yax, and it's like, but now it's Dot has wit. It's like, why did you bother changing that? Like that was
Yeah.
one of her ways of being funny. Was like, okay, I'm really really cute, and just play that up for
Yeah.
just in spades, and that was one of her jokes. And it's like
They're
nobody
trying
thought
to
she
be
was
woke.
stupid. Like she was constantly the one going, they're being stupid. So like everybody kind of didn't have to do that. Like
I know. It seems weird to me. It seemed weird to me too, and it was kind of cringe.
yeah, it's
The
like I understand dropping Bill Clinton from the opening. Okay, that's a reference that's not going to make a lot of sense these days.
Yeah, and
But
it really did.
yeah, it's like I'm not expecting you to go back to nothing, to just 93. Here's our original opening. We're just gonna redo that. And they kept it for the most part, but they did have to change a few things. But I don't understand what the Dot thing, that made no sense.
They
But
did also, have to change the whole main character, the character cast because they don't have all of them anymore.
yeah,
Sadly.
I understand that. Yeah, I mean, you got some people that you either couldn't get back or you can't get back, or there's I understand that. I completely
the
understand
thing
that, but
was-
like, yeah, just some weird nonsense changes that don't make any sense. I guess that would be the definition of nonsense. It doesn't make any sense, but
I mean, that's the show in general.
It's senseless. I love it.
yeah,
And if
I
you
just,
reference, that
But-
reference, by the way, was Dog City.
okay, but
It was the Jim Henson movie from Henson.
I thought it was a TV show, Dog City.
No, there was a cartoon based off of the movie, but it was a Jim Henson movie
Okay.
that was done during the Jim Henson hour.
Oh, okay. And then they
You
made
know,
a cartoon afterwards.
Yeah, and they made a cartoon spin-off like they do with everything in the 90s.
Yes. Simpsons. Well, Simpsons were 80s, but they were showing some of the start of that. Well, I mean, yeah, and it's basically what happened with Pinky and the Brain. started out on Animaniacs and then got their own show. And then there was
But
Pinky Elmira in the brain, and that was weird.
I was talking more about, like, you know, how they did with Godzilla, Evolution, Men in Black.
Oh yeah, yeah, that too. Yeah, changing
How
specifically changing a movie into a TV show for kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was referring to.
Okay, yeah, spinning off things. Yeah, okay, whatever.
That's or your favorite reference. No, wait, not yours. Somebody else that I was talking to recently. Mighty Ducks. It's kind of a Mighty Ducks scenario.
Yeah, that went weird. Mighty Ducks went weird.
Yeah,
It was kind of fun, but it was
I mean,
kind of
I do
weird.
like the cartoon better than the movies, but
It was weird. It was for the transition was strange.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of a big leap.
Yeah, if the 90s was the decade of the spin-off, where you took shows that were on other shows and make, like make shows like Cheers made Frasier. Well, I'm not sure when Frasier started. That might have been a 2000, but it's the same sort of era. You had spin-offs. Now is the time of just reboots.
Yeah, Frasier was the 90s, I think.
I thought it was 90s, but just it felt like it was,
No,
was
it was
also into the
late.
2000s.
I think it lasted until the 2000s. It lasted a long time.
Yeah, it was a really long spin-off. I mean, if you wanted to, oh, not that.
Oh god. I just
Yeah, okay, yep. It was 11 season premiering on September 16th, 93, including on May 13th, 2004. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. But yeah, there was a lot of things.
Christopher Lloyd was one of the writers
On what?
on Frasier.
Oh. Okay.
oh
No,
I
Googled it.
and
And the IMDb reference,
well,
to find
anyway,
the date.
bidding
And
back
I
to
knew it was
Animaniacs.
super early in the
But yeah, we're kind of
uh,
going from the just sort of jumping off on the. You also had in the 90s. The 90s was an era of spin-offs to a certain extent, and then the 90s to 2000s were spin-offs, and now we're into the age of reboots where we're just going to take this. I mean, technically, like they said in the show, the Next Generation was a reboot, so I think that was their little poking it. Yeah, a reboot can go well. It doesn't always go well, but it was it's technically the same universe, so it wasn't really a reboot, but it was a reboot in terms of, we got new cast, same idea, new cast, new ship. It's all in the same universe. So I guess it's technically a reboot. Could be considered a spin-off. It's something of a combination of the two with TNG. But
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love the I love the Iron Man joke they had in it.
Which one?
So when they're like singing the reboot song, it's like they're all in the water tower, and you see a guy, it's like who literally has an iron as a face. Like,
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I just caught that joke.
Oh yeah.
I only watched it once, so I probably didn't catch all the little things. But
I caught it, but like I said, it was a month ago.
yeah,
it's like they're
It
just
was
running to the water tower, and they're just like slapping everybody away. It's like, oh, it's a pool. Ugh. Well, any closing
Clothing?
statements? Ugh.
I would hope so. I do. If there isn't clothing involved,
Okay.
pretend there is.
I am aggressively naked right now underneath my monkey suit.
I don't want to know about your
I'm
monkey.
literally wearing a monkey outfit right now. Anyway, any closing statements?
no.
I mean, it was still amusing. It wasn't as epic as the original, but I mean, first of all, it's kind of dusty after a couple decades, and need to give them some time to build back into it.
Yeah, prove
And
their
I mean,
worth so they can get the stars that they want to get in.
yeah,
I
and
want
I
to see them
mean,
get actual Christopher Walken for an episode.
there
Stop with the
were
scooching.
there were scenes, not specifically this episode, because like I said, it's been a while and I can't remember which episode was which, but there were episodes where I was lolling on the bus because I was watching it like on the bus and stuff. So there were episodes where it was really funny, but it's not quite as consistent yet. So I am hopeful. I really have to rewatch the first few episodes and start watching again, but one more week until The Expanse is back.
Okay.
Yay.